please. I don't care. I don't care. Like, I don't care. If he wants to do something, he can come get a whooping. But if he doesn't want a whooping, then just shut up and get over it, right? You're small, I'm big. You're poor, I'm rich. Get over it. But I can't remember what I was saying. Oh yeah, to get laid. Sweden. I had a lot of good luck in Stockholm. Have you ever tried Sweden? Swedish girls have amazing genetics, but they ruin them. So at 19 they're beautiful, but at 24 they're fucked because they don't look after themselves or go to the gym. But they are quite liberal in regards to sex is not a big deal for them. It's easy to get a beautiful girl and she'll have sex with you just for the sake of having sex with you. They're quite liberal like that. It's like, oh, I'm a hoe. It's okay. It's like a feminist nation kind of thing. So you can tear through Swedish girls pretty easily. And I've had some beautiful Swedish women who turned out to be good girlfriends. They're not necessarily bad people, but they're quite liberal and open-minded. And I thought Sweden was a good place to go. But it's not cheap, and you need to have a bit of money. But you need to have a bit of game. But also, the truth is this. This is the truth. At your level, with the amount of women you've been with, there isn't a country on earth you would. Yeah. And that's the thing what Anthony says. 21Con, Anthony's completely right. There's a war on men in America. There is a genuine war on men and masculinity. And on health. Just the way I conduct my life, even though I've never hurt anybody ever, the number of women I've told to get the fuck out the house in the middle of the night because they talked bad to me. In America, one of them would have gone vengeance to the police of some garbage lie and ruined my life. Like literally, they can do that in America. We're here, they can't do that. I kick you out because you annoyed me and you're out in the street, fuck you. But in America, you can't even do that, right? You have no control. So living in the West as a man is very dangerous. And a lot of the guys who come to me for mentorship, they say, what should I do? And I'm like, my friend, if you're going to live in America, it's going to be hard. The system is against you. And this is it. Like you said, supply and demand, basic capitalism. If you're in a city full of hot women have less of an ego, right? Because there's hot women everywhere. Yeah. But certainly Ukraine and Romania are very similar. The women are not easy. They're quite prudish, especially the hot ones. You know, they're a bit flaky. They're not easy. They're definitely not easy. And it's the same even in Moscow. I was playing in Moscow. And also you have to understand, a lot of people don't respect this. A lot of people say, oh, Andrew moved to some third world shithole. Look, Bucharest is full of millionaires. There's a lot of men here with money.
That's what people are telling me.
Yeah, just because we have money, they think, oh, you have money, so girls want. There's a lot of men with money in Brazil. There's a lot of men with money here. If you go to Moscow and you think because you have 10 American dollars you're going to get laid, you're a fool. Because there's plenty of millionaires in Moscow, there's billionaires and oligarchs, and there's G-Wagons and mafia boys all over the place. Same here in Romania. Like if I go to try and get my car fixed, my Lamborghini fixed, there's a 6-week waiting list. Like there's a whole bunch of people here with money, so money's not enough. Like and that's it. And this, it's kind of crazy. Like when you They say hate never comes from above. That's one fact. But there's other factors involved. But for someone to try and demonize my success or your success so heavily, to try and demonize so heavily only shows their own insecurity. It's kind of like if I'm driving the Lambo, right? You know what I love to hear? I never got this in Romania, never. If I was in England and I'm in a Lamborghini, you know what? Someone will go, rented. And I'm like, the idea that I own this car is so beyond your comprehension that it must be rented. That's a compliment. To me, that's a compliment. It's like someone saying you're on steroids when you're not, right? Mm-hmm. Or someone saying you're with hookers when you're not. My women are so attractive, you cannot believe that they're not paid for. Like being horrible to people is not being an alpha. Being a guy who has no sense of humor, a boring fuck, is not being an alpha. Like you don't have to be a dickhead, boring, and that's the try-hard version. That's a beta male who's trying to impersonate an alpha male's personality. I can have jokes and laugh, and I tell my woman I love her, and I live very normal. Like I know who I am as an individual. No one messes with me, and she knows that. But I don't have to. Fuck you, bitch. Fuck your ass. Yeah. Anyone who's acting that way is just trying to impersonate.
That's the thing.
And that's the thing, because when I talk to another guy who's genuinely about it, like me and you, we're just friendly. There's none of this posturing. There's none of this, hey man, well, you fuck this, but I fuck this. These are just imitators. Like a lot of them are just imitators. You get this all across the world. It's kind of weird. Like a lot of people talk about, there's a whole bunch of people talking about how there's a lack of masculinity in the world. And that is true. But I grew up in the fight circuit. So I always grew up around dangerous men. That was my whole life. And we were all very nice to each other. Nobody was like, I'm gonna fuck my wife in the ass so hard. No one talked like that. Like, everyone's like, trained really hard, I hope I win. We were normal people. Like, so when I see dudes sitting there going, hey, you know what? This fucking tank thinks he's so smart. I'm gonna fucking. You're not gonna do anything. You've never even had a professional fight in your life. You don't have the balls to do anything. Just you're embarrassing yourself. To anyone with a brain, you embarrass yourself, right? But they don't know how a true alpha acts. Because if what I was saying about them wasn't true, they wouldn't even be fazed by it. In fact, they're so upset by me because they know it's true. They know what I'm saying is true, right? Every time they talk about me, I don't even know it. I don't even watch it. Fuck them. Yeah, so the War Room is an organization I created because it was what I was looking for when I was younger. So when I was 21 or 22, I watched The Matrix. Remember in The Matrix where Neo downloads all that information into his brain? Like, I know Kung Fu, and Morpheus says, show me, because he downloads it. I was like, where do I go online to learn how to get rich, get very powerful friends, and get a bunch of women? That's what I wanted. I wanted like 10 passports. I want 10 driver's licenses. I want paperwork that made me above the law. I want friends who in 50 countries around the world who I could crash with. I wanted beautiful girls. I wanted money, and I couldn't find it anywhere. So when I kind of became successful, I put that together. So the War Room's basically an organization based around personal sovereignty. It's not a political organization. We're not about Trump. You know, we're not about saving the West in any particular way. We're about saving yourself as an individual, getting as many passports as possible, getting as many driver's licenses as possible, as much paperwork as possible so no one can contain you. Corona's proved that, right? During Corona, I've been to 16 countries. I tried to go somewhere with my English passport, no. American passport, no. Nigerian passport, no. Moldovan passport, no. Romanian passport, yes. So you need a bunch of paperwork nowadays to even travel. So we teach all that. We teach people how to make money online. We do teach about girls. We teach about everything a man needs, and it's a network. If you go, when I go to Belarus, I'm going to be meeting War Room guys on the ground who know the city, who you can trust and take care of you. So it's an international network in 60 countries, and we have some amazing guys in it. So it's big, but because I like to make life difficult. There is a culture inside where you must brag. You must do impressive things, and you must meet milestones, and you must show your impressive things to other people. If you do not prove you are advancing as a human in whichever the different metrics, I don't want to give too much away, in the many different metrics, you get kicked out. So over time, only half of the members survive. Half of the guys join and they can't keep up and they get kicked out. So this is a group for winners. Everyone in there is a winner. And if you join and you're not a winner, you need to become a winner. You can't just join and sit around. It's the opposite of that. So I think in its history, I won't say how many people are in there now, but a good 600 people got kicked out in its history. I don't see myself ever getting married because I don't see the advantage to getting married.
Yeah, same.
If I have a woman and I love her and we're together, why do I need to get married?
Yeah, same.
Why? Women want to get married. Right? So most men who get married get pressured into it. I believe this is the case. Men get pressured, please, 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 and they give in. I will never get married because I don't want to. I don't see the advantage. As for a relationship, yeah, I have relationships. And I believe in a relationship. Look, if you're sick, you want a woman who's going to give a shit, right? If you're just going to spin plates forever, what's going to happen when you're sick or something bad happens, or not from an emotional perspective, but if I'm sick, I want a girl, look, bring me soup. You want that. It's normal, right? So I have relationships. They'll never be monogamous, no, because that's not who I am as an individual. I refuse to be monogamous because I'm true to my biology and I'm true to who I am as a man. And a woman can go and choose a monogamous man if she so chooses. It's up to her. I will not be a monogamous individual, but I will still love. I say to you, look, I will not be monogamous, but I will still love you. I will still take care of you. I'm still your man. You still call me if there's a problem. I'm still here for you, but I'm going to fuck that bitch. It is what it is. Like, I will never be monogamous and I will never get married, but also, this is another point I like to make. If people are happy, be happy. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't recommend it. But if you're hell bent on doing it, I'm not trying to talk you out of it. But if you want to, you can do anything you want. You want to jump off a bridge, go do it. I'm not trying to talk you out of it, but I just don't think it's a good idea, personally. I kind of feel like there needs to be a definition as well. There needs to be some distinction. And I understand that, like, Rollo's talked bad about me and some of the other guys have talked bad about me, but I'll be honest, the reason Rollo doesn't offend me is because I don't think he's saying he's a playboy. He's saying I'm a theorist and this is my theory. And I think some of his theories are right. And by his own theory of hypergaming, the fact that women want the best they could, by his own theory, of course we have women more attractive than John or Ryan because we're higher value males, right? So Rollo's own theory cements our attractiveness. It cements our success. I know a little bit. I see in the chat people are talking about Richard Cooper. I have nothing against Richard. I like it. I know you're looking at me mad now. I'm just saying, he's never offended me. Maybe in the past he's insulted me, whatever. I talk to him. He seems like a nice enough guy. I don't think he's particularly saying about slaying pussy too much. He's just giving theories and advice based on his life experience, right? It doesn't matter if you're skeptical. It doesn't matter if you do not believe, because it's happened. And it's not by doing what exactly. Many people have done amazing things, different methods, right? We had one guy who became a millionaire with OnlyFans girls. We had another guy who became a millionaire with the DeFi project. We had another guy who launched his own crypto. We had another guy who invested in the casinos. We had another guy who did a real estate deal based on someone else who met in the world in South Africa. We have lots of guys who made lots of money. Your network is your net worth. To come along to a network, an international network headed by a decimillionaire and full of multimillionaires, and to say, I'm skeptical. How can I be a millionaire if I join? Doing what exactly? Is a very feminine, amateur approach. You understand? If I sit with millionaires, I don't sit and go, how do I become rich exactly? That's not how the world functions. If you're skeptical, Eddie, I very, very, very much recommend you do not join, because already I can tell by your attitude. When we tell you what to do, or you see other people doing things, you're going to fail because you're not going to have the right ethic. If you're skeptical, please do not join, because you're just going to get kicked out. The war room is for people who have the mentality. There's for winners. You have to be the kind of guy who can join in a hyper-competitive environment full of lions and start to run with the pride. You can't be some dude who sits there and starts saying to the lions, you guys said you were going to give me some food. That's not what we're looking for. That's not what we're looking for. So, Eddie, you're not welcome in the world. And if you're skeptical, you can keep your skepticism. And the winners will be the winners. And you can just stay outside. It's just, if you're going to try and diss me, then most of the time it's not worth my time. But I really did grow up in a physical realm. And I want to try and explain my mentality. I grew up in a very physical world. Like, if people are going to make diss videos about me on YouTube, they're welcome to. But if you want to garner my respect, you're going to have to get in the cage or come see me on the street and do something, because I'm a physical individual. This is who I am. This is how I gained respect from the world by becoming the champion. This is how other men gain respect from me. Even men I beat, I respected them. I beat an Armenian guy. I broke my hand on his head. His eye was closed, and I shook his hand and said, you are a fucking hero. This is how I operate. If you're not a physical individual, then nothing you say matters anyway, because at the end of the day, all your opinions I could take away from you with my physicality that you lack. So whatever, it literally is whatever to me. Like, I don't operate in that sphere. I operate in a physical sphere. If any of these men want to do something, we can arrange it, but they won't. So they can just sit and talk. And if they hate me, that's fine. But all I can talk about is my personal experiences with people. My experiences with Rollo were always positive until he got tricked by the MGTOWs. My experiences with Cooper are currently positive. I understand he spoke bad about me in the past, but I hold no grudges. He seems like a nice enough guy now. My experience with Cooper was he seems like a nice enough guy now. And Ryan and MLD we've talked about, and it is what it is. And I'm just living life. That's all I know I'm fucking. So I'm not worried what they're saying. I know what I'm fucking, and I know they're beautiful. So my life's good. Completely. And I think I'm responsible, because that's my mental model for everything. Whether I am truly completely responsible or not is a different debate. However, my mental model is every single thing that happens to me is my fault. All of it. If it rains, it's my fault. That's how much control I want over my life. Because if it's not my fault, I don't have control. If you want to absolve responsibility, then you absolve authority over it. And that's what a lot of men make the biggest mistake. Oh, it wasn't my fault. Well, now you can't fix it. So it's my fault. It's my fault. I didn't have to be so devilishly handsome.
They can't help that, but you can't help what you say.
Well,
you can't help how you...
But there's also I'll make this very clear. There is a huge degree of jealousy wrapped up in this matrix. If I was some short little dork and broke and said the same things, nobody would care. But because I remind these nerds of the guy who picked on them in school, because I'm big and tall and strong and smart, women love me, and I have a Bugatti and a bunch of cars, hundreds of millions of dollars of property, and a private jet, a yacht, because I live the dream life of every man, a bunch of people are pissed off at me, and they want to put me in jail. Of course, there's a huge degree of that. I didn't have to be so monumentally successful and brash, but I decided to be. So I take responsibility for all of it. And also, I'm not a perfect person. If I go to jail for this garbage, which I know I've done nothing wrong, but I do know I have done things wrong in my life. So all in all, fair enough. Me and my brother kept saying that to each other in jail. All in all, fair enough. You know, we're here for some garbage, complete garbage, yes. But when we were 19 and we were drinking WKDs at Liquid Nightclub, and that guy bumped into us, and we were a bit drunk, and he ran his mouth, and we took his teeth out, was that necessary? Really? Or were we young and stupid? We were young and stupid, and we hurt something. So all in all, cosmic justice put me with the cop. Whatever. I'm not a perfect person. I'm also not a coward. I'm not afraid. Yeah, it would be, but I'll get stories. I'll come out and do podcasts. What am I supposed to do? So I'll take responsibility for it, but I also understand why there's people in rooms right now, sitting there, frustrated that I'm not in jail. Because these people are analyzing my life forensically. And they're like, damn, I'll never be. I will never have a fraction of his capability or his finance. The way these women stick up for him and adore him, my wife would never stick by me like that. I hate him. I get it. I totally get it. And that's my fault for being so... Well, I think that envy is designed to motivate, but the Matrix has taken envy and it's corrupted it. So I've always been... I've told this story on other podcasts before, but I've been an envious person. I told this story because it was so pertinent to me about how most people don't care. I was walking to school. I was walking to sixth form college in Luton. I was 16, 17 years old. And I used to have to walk about an hour each day to school, and it was raining, and I was walking. And I was walking with three of my friends, and a Ferrari, it was an F430, I think, pulled up at the...
That was my first Ferrari.
That one, yeah. Pulled up at the lights, made a bunch of noise, and I was standing there, and I watched it, and then the light went green, and he just tore off. I said to my friends, I was like, bro, how do we get Ferraris? And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, my mom is on a council estate, single mother. She raises 3 kids on 300 pounds a month. We can barely afford food. He has 200 grand for a car. Liquid for a car. Something is broken. None of the teachers at school have Ferraris. None of our university professors have Ferrari. No one else I know has a Ferrari. What do we have to do to break the matrix and find the money? This is all a lie. I want a Ferrari. And my friends were like, don't know. That's why I have Ferrari friends. Well, no, that's why I have Ferraris and they don't. That's why I now have 33 Ferraris. Because I wanted it. I was envious. I was envious of this man. Most people don't care. I turned envy into anger, and anger is power. But what we have people doing now, because they don't believe in themselves, because the matrix has dampened their soul, when they feel envious, because they want to level the playing field, which is all envy is. Instead of trying to elevate themselves, they try and drag others down. So when people look at my life and they're envious of me, what they should say is, he's truly from the most humble possible socioeconomic beginnings. He is a person of color from a council estate, a single mother household. He is the bracket of criminal. He's at the bottom, and he made it up to the highest echelons. He's on the phone with Elon Musk and his ability. He can do it, I can do it. But they don't believe in themselves. So what they do instead is, well, I want to level the playing field, so I got to drag him down. And they do that primarily through character assessment. Well, he has all these things, but he's a bad person. I'm a good person. And it's the matrix, and they don't believe in themselves. So envy, when you're trying to drag others down, is actually, it's just laziness. Because you feel envious, but you don't have enough fire about yourself to go out there and attack the world and equal the playing field with vigor. So you want to equal the playing field by dragging someone else down. It's just laziness. Lazy people. People who are not lazy would see me as an inspiration. But inspiration is only envy. That's all it is. So I think humans are designed to be envious. And I think the correct mental model for envy is inspiration. And the incorrect mental model for envy is going to be attempting to attack someone's character. And I guess it's a survival mechanism. If you see your opponent has 3 rocks and you only have 2, you want 4. Otherwise you're going to lose.
Is that why you have 59 cars?
Well, in case I might have to race, my friend.
You said you only drive 4 of them. I've only got 7, but they're all in the garage at the same time.
Bro, no, I'm joking. No, but you know what?
I bet most of your inner circle haven't got as many cars as I have.
Oh, no, you're completely right.
Yeah.
And
But they all go wrong all the time, and only 1 or 2 of them actually want to drive.
correct. And it's funny because I have so many of the same car. Like I have 3 SF90s, all 3 currently have a warning light. I have 4 765s, only one of them's working. Bro, so yeah, it's a nightmare.
And then you've lost it for a month because it's got to go back to the garage, and then it's a 25 grand bill for a
Correct.
gearbox you don't need.
Correct. It is a nightmare. The reason I buy so many cars is because I'm passionate about cars. And I guess you say I'm very hard on myself, but I like to spoil myself with cars because I can't think of another way to spoil myself. Clothes. Okay, you buy a wardrobe of clothes. How many clothes? Diamond watches. Okay, I had 30 diamond watches. 4.
Let me ask you about that.
What's there to buy? Besides cars, please, you're another very high net worth individual. Please correct me. Because I buy a new car every week because I'm bored. What else am I supposed to buy with all my money?
Yeah, cars, watches, clothes, assets.
Assets is work. Experiences are great, but I'm locked in remain.
Just buy cars.
There's nothing else to do. I bought like 40 cars since I got out of jail. There's nothing, 30 cars, whatever.
Is this like have you bought a lot since coming out of jail?
Oh yeah.
So is this a reaction to it? It's like,
you know, it's funny. When they raided my house, the first thing the police said is, "Where's the Bugatti?" First words. It's almost like the Romanian state just wanted to steal money. Interesting. Anyway, back to jail. When they raided my house, I have a safe, and I have all my diamond watches in a safe on a spoolie thing, and it's bulletproof glass and blah, blah. And they're like, open the safe. And I was like, well, what happens if I don't? And Mr. Ski Mask in the shop, he says, well, you're going to jail. So it doesn't matter if it takes us 3 months with a chainsaw. We're getting in that safe, and we're going to destroy your house while we do it. I was like, well, that's a pretty valid point. Time is the fire in which we all burn, including a safe. I mean, it can hold someone out for a certain amount of time, and I'm sure with months of time they'd get in. So I opened the safe and they took all my watches. So I just feel, you know what? I don't even drive them. I think if I have to analyze it, what I truly think it is, I think it's because it's most men's dream. Most men's dream is a Lamborghini, let's say. And they have to save and they have to finance it and work out how they're going to pay for it. And they have to get the garage for it. And it's a big deal. So by me trivializing that big deal, it highlights to me the echelon of my life. If I walk into a car dealer and say, what have you got right now? Oh, this and this. Okay. Don't ask the price. Don't care what it is. Don't care what it costs, and pay for it. And then leave it at the dealership for 4 months before eventually it collects on a truck, because I never even pick it up, and it goes into some storage unit somewhere. It's like I get other people's dreams with ease. I take their dream scenario and I trivialize it into just, okay, I don't even want it. And I think that's what I enjoyed about it. It's kind of like,
why is he doing
it's kind of like a man's in love with a supermodel. Oh, I love the supermodel. He writes on her Instagram, and well, these dudes, this is real. A man's in love with a girl on Instagram. She's got 3 million followers and she's beautiful, and he's liking her posts and writing underneath it, and he's inboxing her and she's not replying. He's obsessed with her, and I'm like, yeah, okay, coffee. Fine, Tuesday. Do I really want to talk to her? No. But this man wants it so bad. I have to make it so ridiculously easy. I guess it's kind of like a peacock putting up his feathers, you know? Or a lion saying, don't come near my territory, don't come near my tree, or I'll annihilate you. It's the same in a fiscal stance. So I just take other people's dreams and I reduce them to nothing, to dust. And then I put it in storage. And then I forget that I even have the car most of the time until I'm reminded it needs a service. And then I'm annoyed I have it. And that's a headache. Then it gets serviced. Then it goes back in storage. I just take other, maybe I'm a dream catcher. I take other people's dreams, take them all, put them in a big warehouse. Take warehouse. And then these people get mad at it. Some people listen to this and are inspired by it. Some people get mad. And those are the 2 camps. The ones who believe I shouldn't be in jail, and the ones who rejoice when I go to jail. The ones who rejoice when I go to jail, though, don't understand a very important part of this whole equation. Is that jail makes me stronger. I think the best way to predict the future is to study history. I believe in times of old. Let's go back the last 3,000 years. If you were a king, your life was good. Or it was as good as life could be. To be a king, you had power, influence, money. That's what you had, and you were a king, and you lived a good version of life. If you weren't a king, you were an average man, a common man. And I think the world is cyclical. When you were a common man 2,000 years ago, you were effectively a slave. And life was terrible. And then that was the same all the way up to perhaps 1930s, 1940s. Being a common man was pretty terrible. And perhaps it was the war and the massive loss of life. Perhaps it was something else, I'm not sure. But I kind of feel like there was a golden period between in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, maybe even the 90s, where being a normal, hardworking man, because life is cyclical, went from being a terrible existence to quite a good existence. In the 60s, you could be a normal man who worked in a factory, an unskilled labor job, and with one wage, you could afford a house, you could afford a car, you could afford to raise a family, your children would not be taught garbage in school, your wife would respect you, you'd have a home-cooked meal.
Times are good.
Times are good. All the things I said about playing Uno earlier in Hyperbole are true. What matters most? Your wife loves you, you're respected as the breadwinner, your kids respect you, they listen to you, your house is clean, your house is safe, your car works, your life is good. And I feel like, because it's cyclical, those good times are over and we're going back to where it was before. The kings have always been fine, and we always will. But if you're the common man, I think that the good days are over. And I think it's going to get harder and harder. Inflation is going to absolutely decimate your spending power. Now, inflation doesn't damage me. Inflation doesn't damage me because I own all the assets. Inflation just means houses get worth more money. Inflation just means Bitcoin and stock and land and houses all go up. Inflation means my car collection is no longer worth 110 million. It's now worth 300 million. Whatever.
Inflation,
I own everything.
Inflation is amazing for the rich man.
100%. I love it.
But for the broke man,
You're done.
you're fit.
You're done.
You're finished.
Because inflation is meaning your money is worth less. And it's going to take more of your money to buy a house. And your wage is not going to increase at the rate of inflation. It's becoming more and more impossible for you to own assets. For us asset owners, inflation's fantastic. So the common man is about to get wrecked. I think inflation is going to make it exceptionally difficult. I think AI is going to make most jobs worth less than they already currently are. If you're a newspaper writer or whatever,
AI is taking
AI is going to take that in the next 10 years.
Yep.
And you're going to, if you still have a job, it's going to be only managing the AI, which means you're going to be paid even less than you're currently paid. I think life is about to become exceptionally difficult for the people in the middle. I think the good times are over. I think it's going to go back to the feudal system of kings and serfs and peasants. And I think if you're a normal, average person now, you should feel deep fear and panic and understand that you have a certain amount of time to get into the higher bracket of the social class before these hard times come. And the most scary thing about these hard times is I have no real evidence for this. It's just in my mind. I feel like the gap is going to permanently close. In olden times, let me think about this thought, because in olden times, the chance of turning into anything more than a peasant when you were born a peasant was effectively zero, unless there was chaos, unless there was a war or some great catastrophe, which allowed social mobility for you to go to war, win, get a knighthood for bravery, get some land, and change your social mobility class. But there had to be war and chaos for you to escape, because without the chaos, it's kind of like a prison break. When all the rules are being adhered to and the prison is operating as it should, you're stuck in your cell. But if there's a prison riot, you have a chance to escape, which means uncertainty and chaos are required for the difference in social mobility. And that's always been the case. But now I feel like with AI and certain other things, although there's going to be instability in the world, although they're going to continue to lie to us, I feel like the Matrix is going to gain enough control to keep us all in our pods or in our 15-minute cities, or our electric cars will be turned off, or we need to get our bug rations for the week, so that there can't ever be enough true chaos for you to escape. There won't be true social mobility, and I feel like there's going to be a close. The people who are rich now, their bloodlines will be rich for a very long time. And the people who are poor now, if they don't get rich soon, in the next 10 years or so, you're never going to get rich. The prices of houses are going to continue to go up. Prices of land is going to continue to go up. Inflation is going to continue to happen. The wages will not catch up. It's going to get harder and harder for the average person to ever stand a chance.
It's almost like it's now or never.
Yeah, it's now or never.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible right now. How does the average person on an average wage buy a house in London right now? It's almost impossible already. I think in the next 10 years, it's going to become truly impossible, and we're going to use AI to keep the gap closed. And what's interesting about that is, well, I'm in the rich team, I guess. But what I find most interesting about that is the socio ramifications of the fact that I think this is quite pertinent to most average people. I think most normal people understand. If you were to ask them how's the economy, they'd say, well, it's impossible. I can't pay for my bills. I can't pay the heat. I can't afford a house. I can barely afford my mortgage. I'm never going to get rich this way. They understand all of this, but they're not panicking. Why are you not panicking? The Titanic just hit the iceberg. You may not be in the water yet, but it's certainty. There's nowhere else to go. It's going to sink.
It's going to happen.
Panic now. Don't panic at the end with everyone else as they go into the icy depths. No, I would argue if I was on the Titanic and it got struck by the iceberg, I could have got a lifeboat boat nice and early. Now, I wouldn't have women and children first. I'm just using this as an example.
Yeah.
Analogy.
No, I know where you're going with it.
I could have gone to the top deck when no one else was panicking and said, you know what, I want this. I want to go on a lifeboat. No, I don't feel comfortable on a lifeboat. And the guard probably would have said to me, you don't need to go on a lifeboat. It's no big deal. I said, yeah, but please just give me the lifeboat, or here's some money or whatever. I want this one. Give me this. Everyone started panicking at the end. And people are sitting here now going, oh yeah, the economy's bad, but maybe if we vote for this person. Who are you going to vote for that's going to put money in your pocket actually come along and say, here's money? Nobody. Still got to pay your council tax. Still a brokey. Nobody cares. No one you vote for is going to change it. It's going to get worse. It's going to continue. And the boat is going to sink and you're not panicking. That's why I kind of catch myself. And one of the things I try very hard not to do is become elitist. Because when you've come from the absolute bottom to the absolute top and you've done it all off of your own back and hard work and dedication and never missing a day, the only shortcut to life is to never miss a day. One, because of compounding interest, and two, because sometimes you get lucky. And you'll never miss a lucky day if you try every day. If you don't try every day, you might miss your lucky day. And that's what people don't understand. If you never miss a day and you never don't try and you're always on time, was I late today? No, on time. And you try and improve every aspect of your life and you're a professional and you try and make sure that you analyze your decisions, you give yourself feedback, you don't make mistakes, you're not lazy. If you try and you make it to the top, you end up elitist because you look at the people down below and you're like, well, why didn't you try? I did. Oh, I did too. No, you didn't. That's a lie. Now you're lying to me and that annoys me. And you catch yourself being very elitist. And this is what's scary about it, because I'm from a Luton council estate. And now I have all this money. But if I meet somebody who's truly broke, I'm not talking about you not have hundreds of millions, but if I meet somebody who's broke, I think they're an idiot. And I catch myself going, is that bad? Am I elitist? Or do I sit down now and I just say, no, I started lower than you and beat you. How are you poor? You're lazy.
Okay, fair enough. I was going to say, why would you say if they're an idiot if you wanted that position as well?
No, I was, but I got out. And I think one of the there's only three reasons you can't get rich in the world today, which is either you're stupid, you're lazy, or you're arrogant. And I find the most common one is lazy and arrogant. It's not stupid. There's nobody at home who is too stupid to become rich. I'm sure anyone watching this podcast right now, if you were to sit down next to me and I were to say, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, you could do it. Of course you could. But you're too lazy to learn how to do it yourself.
And you're too arrogant to listen.
And you're too arrogant to listen. It's not about being stupid. You're lazy or arrogant. It's one of the two. Those are the two most common factors of people. So when I meet people who have truly failed and they pretend to me that they didn't want to fail, I know they're one of the three. And it's usually arrogant. Because when I sit and say to them, you could have got out, they don't say, you're right, I could have got out, I didn't try. That shows humility. They don't do that. They say, no, because it's excuse, someone else's fault, the Matrix's fault, no self-accountability. Oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about anyway. Arrogance.
Sounds like feminine mindset to me.
Well, yeah, exactly, and then it's gonna lose.
Yeah.
So I catch myself being elitist, and I try very hard not to be, because I don't consider myself a rich man. I'm a poor man with lots of money. And what's scary about being elitist is, if I'm from a Luton council estate, and I have a bunch of money now, and I see the common man as a lazy idiot, imagine how the elites. And then you start to really go down the rabbit hole when you understand there's people who've been in charge of the world for a very long time who own the banks, who believe they're genetically superior to us because why not? Their families always own the bank. They can be a fat loser, but they just believe there's something because why not? They have a good vote. That's just what they're going to believe. So, imagine how they view the common man. You think they give a shit about you or your family or your income or your wages? You think they care about you? Do you think they're going to make life easier for the common man in the next 10 years as you've just asked? Or are they going to continue to decimate your lifestyle for their own forever profit? There's no light without dark, which is a basic fundamental law of the universe which can't be broken. And especially as these large companies want forever profits, which they do, and they own everything. Like, I don't think many people understand. If you go into Sainsbury's and you look around at brands, you will struggle to find 10 brands that aren't owned by the same company.
Yeah.
The whole thing's owned.
Yeah.
The same company that owns Sainsbury's owns every brand. They own everything. So if they want forever profits, which they do, they're not going to do that without
Owning everything.
well, and also you have to take that money from someone. If they can make you poor so they can get richer, they will. If they own all the assets, they want it. So if you're the kind of person who's going to quit because it's hard, then fuck off. I don't even want your energy around me, because quitters are the worst people on the planet. You can give a quitter absolutely everything and they will still fail. You can give it, doesn't matter what it is. If you go to IKEA and buy a flat pack fucking table and put it in front of a quitter, you will never have a table. He'll look at it, it's long, and he'll quit. Quitters can have every single advantage. Quitters can have all the information. Quitters can have all the tutelage. Quitters can have a mentorship. Quitters can have someone who messages them every morning, hey bro, let's get it. And guess what they're gonna do at the end?
Quit.
They ain't never gonna have shit. So if you're a quitter, I don't even want you even inside my organization. I don't want quitters anywhere near me, because you're never gonna be successful. And the people who join and then quit because they had to do an hour's work are the people who come along and go, take this, maybe it's a scam. Idiots, peons. They will stay brokies and wagies forever. Leave them there, right? You need the people who don't quit. I don't quit. Every single facet of my life is testament to the fact that I don't quit. When people see my plane in the sky, you can say whatever you want about me. You can call me arrogant. You can call me anything you want, but you cannot call me a quitter. I didn't quit. So that's the difference. When it was hard, I did it anyway. That's who I've always been. And if you don't have that kind of tenacity, you're never going to be anything. So the people who come along and talk about passive income, they sound like quitters to me. They sound like people who don't want to work. I love work. I'm ready to work. I'll dig a hole. Bro, you offer me $1 billion right now and give me a shovel, I'll dig a hole. I don't give a fuck. Give me the shovel, give me the money. I will dig a hole. I'm not afraid of work. I think follow your passion is also a terrible piece of advice.
Yeah.
Yeah. People say, hey man, you need to find what you're passionate about and do that. And what they're trying to say is only do what you like, because you have no motivation to do anything else. And motivation in and of itself is a scam. I don't believe in motivation. I believe in discipline. I am not motivated to do the things I'm supposed to do every day. I don't wake up full of like joy. I have to go to the gym, or that I have to work, or I deal with crap. I don't feel motivated to do them. I'm disciplined. I do them regardless of how I feel. Whether I'm in the mood to do it or I'm not in the mood to do it, it gets done. That's discipline. Discipline's a real thing. Motivation is fleeting. Yeah. You're never going to be permanently motivated. So when someone comes along and says, oh, do what you're passionate about, what they're saying is you'll have endless motivation, and then you'll be able to try hard. If you're the kind of person who can only try hard at something he enjoys, then you're going to fail. Because most things you enjoy don't pay any money. If they paid money, you wouldn't enjoy them. It's called a job, right? Nobody likes their job. You like your hobby. I'm sure you like playing video games. Maybe 1%, 0.1% can make money from video games, right? Most people, you ain't ever gonna make it.
Yeah.
Do you think the guy in China who owns a concrete plant is passionate about concrete? Do you think he's sitting there stroking it at night, naked in bed? Fuck no. It's money. Be passionate about success. If you're passionate about money, then you can be passionate about anything. I'll be passionate about any business on earth that pays me. If you pay me $1 billion to dig that hole, I'll be very passionate about that hole. I will dig that hole with passion for the cash.
Yeah, because you know the cash.
For the money.
Yeah.
That's right. So when people come along and say, oh, you need to find something you're passionate about, follow your passion. Bro, you're going to follow your passion to the fucking food bank. You're never going to make any money that way. You have to sit there and go, what is going to pay me? The problem is as well, it's difficult because the way that humans work and the way that we've evolved as a species is that we don't really learn lessons unless they're learned the hard way.
Yeah.
I believe that unless a lesson is taught the hard way, you're not going to learn it. You can have so many near misses and people won't learn their lesson. Bro, you must know a guy who goes out there, nearly crashes his car, nearly crashes his car, nearly crashes his car, doesn't slow his ass down till he wrecks it.
Yeah.
Like, this is how people are, right? So you need that pain for the lesson to sting enough to really genuinely go inside of your mind. And it's the same with everything. It's the same with driving a car or business. Truthfully, if you want to learn a lesson about business, you're going to have to suffer at some point, right? So we always say that most people are not successful with their first companies, X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. I get that. The truth is there's a lot of people who make a lot of money with their first company, but they just spunk it, act an idiot, and it all blows up in their face. And that's how you get the discipline on your fourth company, that when you have $3 million in the bank, you just leave it there. You know, and don't be done with it. So you need to go through some pain. You need to experience some negative things. You need to have to a degree some trauma to really even learn any lessons. So yeah, business studies, you're right. The book, that's not going to teach you anything about business. You need to get out there on the streets. You need to make mistakes. You need to suffer. You You need to have the tax man knocking at your door. You got to deal with all that stuff so that you make sure it doesn't happen again. I really think that humans are stupid enough to only learn the hard way. That's kind of how it works. Yeah, you know what's actually the saying, if you know what you have, you ain't got much, that is completely true.
Yeah.
I don't have a clue how much money. When I was broke, I knew exactly how much money I had. I had 117 pound in the NatWest, and that was it. I'm poor, rent's paid, I ain't got nothing else. When I was broke, I knew exactly how much I had. But now I'm at a point where it gets really difficult to truly measure how much money I have, because you have cash, okay, that's easy. I have some crypto, which is constantly fluctuating. And then you have assets, and the price of the assets is constantly fluctuating. And then I have companies and income streams which need to be valued. And how do you value them, right? They can be an 8 times multiplier in some circumstances, and others they'll be a 10 times multiplier.
Yeah.
So it's really difficult for me to put a value on it. If you were to say to me, how much money do I have in the bank? But then even then, I've got to be careful what I say on this podcast. But even then, once you have a healthy respect for money, once you get past a certain amount of money, you don't need it in the bank. Like there's no point in me having 50M liquid in the bank. Why? Well, then what am I going to buy? You know, you're like, as long as you have whatever you have in the bank to run around the world with, you have enough. So you try and put that money to use, right? You buy assets, XYZ. So it's really difficult. I mean, I have my online school, which we'll talk about later, Hustles University.
Yep.
That's already been valued. That was valued at 300 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I missed the brokey days.
Why?
Because when you have limitations,
Money makes it fun though.
money does make life fun, but when you have limitations, you're better at living in the moment and you're better at appreciating things. So what happens is now at my point, right? No matter how much fun I'm having, it's always, even if it's only 1% in the back of my mind, that it could be more fun somewhere else. If I can go anywhere I want all the time with no limitations, I never have to turn up to a job. I don't have anything I have to do. I can go anywhere, right? And I got a plane waiting for me. If I'm in Marbella in the middle of a party, no matter how good that party is, how much fun I'm having, whatever girls I'm with, whatever, and my boy texts me from Mykonos saying it's going off in Mykonos. Part of me is thinking, should I just... I can get there by, it's 3 a.m. now. I can be there before the club closes in Mykonos. And then it's hard to just live in the moment and be happy with what you're doing.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Because there's unlimited choices. It's like going to Tesco. If there's only one sandwich, it's fine. If there's 100 sandwiches, you start reading every sandwich.
Yeah.
Which one's the one I want? Maybe that one was better. So the brokey days were good days, bro, man. Like I'd get McDonald's and you're laughing with your boys.
Yeah.
The brokey days are great. And I'm not complaining about being rich. Obviously I worked hard for this and it's a fantastic life I live now. But I think without those brokey days, without those original days to compare it to, without that juxtaposition, then I don't think being rich would be fun at all. I think it's only fun because you can compare it to the days when you weren't rich. That's the only thing that makes it fun. The only thing that makes a $10,000 steak fun is that you can laugh saying how you never had 10 grand in your bank till you were 27 years old.
Yeah.
Like otherwise it's boring. Otherwise, okay, steak. And I think if you're born with too much money, that you'll never truly be happy. I think you need the brokey days. They're the best days. So yeah, it's not the destination, it's the journey. And humans, we all work in regards to, it's even the way the human body works, right? If you're driving at 200 miles an hour, you don't feel it. You only feel the acceleration getting to 200 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So if you were born at 200 miles an hour, it doesn't feel fast. It doesn't feel fun. Me, my life feels fun now because of all the acceleration to get here, and I can remember the times when I was stuck by the side of the motorway without a car.
Yeah.
So I have that juxtaposition. Without that, it's not even interesting. It's not even fun. So the brokey days, anyone who's out here who's broke, good. These will be the happiest days of your life once you made it. You just got to remember everything and sit around with your boys. I mean, maybe some people change with money. Maybe if you get new friends and things change, but I hang around with the exact same people I did when I was poor. I got the same friends. I live with the same people, the same guys, same jokes, nothing's changed for me. So for me, I'm just a broke guy with a bunch of money. That's all that's happened. And I think sales jobs are probably the best job any person can get. If I had to get a job again, it'd be a sales job because you learn a lot as a salesman. You learn, and sales is a really important skill. You learn a skill. And also if you're actually good at it, it's not even really like having a job. They don't fire the top salesman.
Yeah, no, they don't.
They do not fire the top salesman. No, you turn up late. You crash your car.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, G. Boom, here's my numbers. They're like, all right, dickhead, but all right, bye. They don't give a fuck if you're the big boss, right? So if you're a salesman, it's the only time you get any kind of freedom. And also all the responsibility and all the pressures on your back where it belongs as a man. You need to adopt stress and adopt problems if you want to be successful as a man, and as a salesman you get that. So I had a bunch of sales jobs. I did a bunch of sales things. I was fighting, became world champion, started making money with fighting, but even fighting, kickboxing is not boxing, bro. Most I ever got paid for a fight was like 200 grand. as a kickboxer, you don't make that much money, man. I had an apartment and a BMW, and I was doing all right, but I wasn't balling. You know, I couldn't just pull money out the sky and just do whatever. Like if you're fighting twice in a year, and let's say you get 50 grand for one fight, 40 grand for another fight, what, 90 grand? By the time you give your manager 20%, pay all your rent, paid your car, but you ain't rich, right? And that's the best you'll ever get out of kickboxing ever.
Well, even at top level.
Top level. You have to go to UFC, and even most UFC fighters have no money.
Yeah.
You got to be the champ to get paid. The thing is with the UFC is that everyone says Dana White should pay them more, but look at how liquid the UFC is. Even during COVID, when basically every other organization couldn't function and shut down, he managed to keep shows running. He managed to keep UFC running, keep fighters getting paid, keep fighters in shape. I mean, I know a lot of kickboxers who didn't have a fight for two and a half years. How are you going to stay in shape for 2.5 years?
Yeah, and then you come out
doing what?
Yeah.
Are you going to drive to the gym every day, eat good every day without not even getting paid to fight? So it's hard. So maybe he does rub the fighters. I don't know, but he's an excellent businessman. He's provided a platform for people. But the point I'm trying to make is that fighting as a career path is a terrible career path because it's just too hard to make money. Too much can go wrong. You can get unlucky. You can break your hand. You know, you can get sick on the day before a fight and then lose the fight because you had a bit of a cold and now you got knocked out and you're you know what I mean? Like it's hard. It's too hard. It's unpredictable. So I always knew that even when I was fighting, and I was always trying to find a way to make money. Even when I was fighting, all I did was try different ways to make money. I tried a million things, and that's what you have to do. You have to try a bunch of things and learn a bunch of lessons until you finally find something that works. So that's a good question. And I think one of the reasons why I was so motivated to make money is because even when I was completely broke, through fighting, I had access to a lifestyle. I saw money, right? So, man, I can tell you stories now that even sound stupid to me. I went to Deauville, France to fight for a world title. And I was sitting there and the promoter hadn't turned up yet. And I ordered 2 waters, 2 Perrier.
Yeah.
And they came and they were like €9 each. And I paid for them. And I said to Tristan, 20 quid for fucking water. Because we're brokies. And he's like, yeah, that's crazy. We look around and there's all these tables just with water, champagne, food, you know, like $1,000 lunches, £1,000 lunches. No one gave a shit, right? And we're sitting there going, where are we going wrong with life? Like, we're worried about the price of water. That dude's got a lobster. He's got like a big bottle of champagne. Like, we're going wrong. So I always knew there was outside of the matrix. There were these people who were living in a way that money didn't have any significance. Money wasn't real to them. So I always knew it. I was always around it, especially through fighting. I went to a bunch of crazy countries, Kazakhstan, all these places. We're in Kazakhstan, a poor country. It's just G-Wagon. I'm like, what's going on? Like, there are people who are living outside the matrix, and once you live outside of it, once you get to a certain level of incomes and wealth, everything becomes free. Like, when I was looking at the price of that water, no one else in that restaurant even looked at the price of anything. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm like now. I don't know the price of anything I eat or buy. If it's not a house or a car, even most supercars, G, I don't even know. If I want the new Maserati, the MC20, the Spider, I'm just going to text my boy, yeah, fully spec, every option. And it's going to come out the bank and I ain't going to notice. Like, it doesn't make a difference. If I have 11.8 million or 11.4 million,
what difference
does it make? It doesn't mean anything. Yeah. So you get to a point where the whole world's free. And then you start just buying stuff, not because you want it, but because it's completely free. So even if you 1% want it, right? You're like, oh, well, I might use it once. 400 G's. I might drive it one day this summer.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how you get to it. It's the same way people just buy coffee at a whim. You end up doing that with everything. So I always knew that kind of life existed. I used to talk with my brother about it all the time. I was like, bro, we're doing something wrong. Something doesn't add up. We're still thinking in terms of like make money, spend money, money in the bank. There's people who are living for free and they just point at things and they get everything they want. My brother used to call me crazy. He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, no, there's the matrix. We're inside the system. We need to escape. And now I managed to find a way out. So I always knew it existed. I was always looking for it. And it does exist, man. You can get to a point of income. You can get to a point of wealth generation where literally everything, I don't know how else to say it. I want to say it in a more articulate way for the sake of the podcast. The only way I can explain it is everything is free. That's how I view the world. Everything's free. If I want something, it's free. I want dinner's free, coffee's free, supercars are free, private jets are free, it's free. I just want it because all they want is numbers on a screen.
Yeah.
And numbers on a screen are what's numbers on a screen? It's nothing. It's free. I don't know how else to say it. You're telling me if I give you some numbers on a screen, you're going to go and build me a W16 fucking Bugatti Chiron Pure Sport and you're going to deliver it to me in my house and you're going to put it in the color I want and it's going to be gorgeous and beautiful and everyone's going to be jealous and you're going to do that and all you want is a few numbers on a screen? Safe.
Take it.
Take it. I don't give a fuck. It's free. I don't know how else to explain it. That's the level the world gets to. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that people can make. And one of the largest things that hold people back from wealth is the people around them. Not only because of the mindsets of the people around them, but also trying to find people around you who you can truly actually trust is difficult.
Yeah.
It's difficult, man. I'm telling you, if you get 20 people, 20 full-grown men in a room, and they can trust each other completely and nobody's out to snake anyone, even if all 20 are working normal jobs, but they pool their spare income, you will be rich. You'll be fine. The problem is finding 20 people you can trust, right? 20 people with normal jobs, even with normal jobs, you could pool your spare income. You could buy cryptocurrencies, you could buy houses, you could do whatever you want to do, and you would find a way to escape the matrix. At least, maybe not to the insane levels, but you'd all be comfortable, right? By just pooling incomes. Problem is, one of them 20 is going to snake you. One of them 20, his woman's going to leave him, and he's going to get fucked over, and you're going to get fucked over by extension. Or one of them 20, his wife will be in her ear, you're always out with them boys, you can't be with them anymore, the woman gets involved, starts messing it all up. So it's hard. A lot of people don't understand that the entire world, the most valuable thing on the planet today is human capital. Even the people at the very, very top echelons of life, all they care about is controlling people. The people who are in charge of governments and stuff, all they care about is controlling people, making sure you do what they want you to do. I don't want to get too political and talk about Epstein's Island and all that crap. But once you get to a certain level of money, all they want is people. People are the most important thing. You can't have a business without people. You can't have a government without people. You don't have anything without people. So I don't see why you wouldn't have the people you're born with, who share blood with, and just do a handshake as men and say, okay, let's not fuck each other over, let's get rich. Because now you're doubling your manpower, right? You're doubling up. So I think that I was always close with my brother and he's always been close with me because we are a team, and you need to have a team. And if you have a team, you stand a better chance. It's player versus player out here, man. It's on the street. It's not easy. For every dollar you make, for every pound you take, you took it from someone else. You don't make money, you take money. People don't understand the way that money works. You're not the Federal Reserve. You can't create money from thin air. Every single pound in your bank is money you took from someone else. And when I say take, I don't mean it in a negative way. You might have convinced them to give it to you. You might have a coffee shop. I'll give you a nice coffee. You'll give me some money. Cool. But you still took his money, right? So if you're out here trying to take stuff from other people, don't you want to have a team? You want to do it by yourself? You want to be Rambo?
Because if you get two of you doing it.
You get two of you. That's right. So the whole idea of this lone soldier, this Rambo, I'll do it all by myself, that's all dead, bro. You need to have a team. It's player versus player. And for the same reason, if you were out here on the street and you want to defend yourself, you want your boys around you. It's the same thing with trying to get rich. Problem is trying to find guys on your level. That's the hard part, right?
So you and Tristan have always been close then?
We've always been close since the beginning. Every single battle either of us had to face, we faced as a team.
Yeah.
And our battle to become rich, we faced as a team. We sat there and go, okay, we are going to get rich. It doesn't matter if right now I'm going to start this business and I ain't going to make any money. So you're going to work a wagey job so we have somewhere to live. And I'm going to focus on this as a team, right? So at least we have somewhere to live. If I'm working wagey job, we can't focus on the business. If we're both trying the business, we have nowhere to live, etc. So we've always worked as a team. We've doubled up our manpower. And I think a lot of men understand this and intrinsically would like the idea of this. But a lot of the time, women get in the way. I've seen that a million times, bro. I've seen women get in the way of partnerships like that so many times. Because women don't like you having a strong masculine network, because then you don't need them. They want you to need them. I'll help you. I'll be your partner. Bro, that's the biggest mistake. Don't even get me started. Biggest mistake you can make as a man is trying to start business with your wife or some shit. Because now you got two different battles you got the relationship you're trying to be in control of, and I got to deal with the business as well. Now it's different if you run the business and you hire her and she does a little bit of admin. Cool, that's fine. But I'm talking about, let's say
50-50 business partners.
Yeah, let's say your chick goes, I want to open a beauty salon, and you pay for her to open a beauty salon. And now this beauty salon, you've put $1 million of your money in it. And it's not open on a Thursday. You're like, why isn't it open on Thursdays? Oh, I had a headache. What do you mean you had a headache? Bro, I just spent $1 million. Yeah, but Claire's sick and I have a headache. And now you got the relationship, it's all messed up. This bitch is lazy. She thought it'd be like Sex and the City episode where she just drinks lattes and makes money. And she realized she had to actually do shit. You know what I mean? It's all getting messy there. Whereas when you're with your boys and let's say you invest $1 million in something, it's not open on Thursday, you can go to this house and say, what the fuck's wrong with you? Don't be a bitch. You're a man. Yeah. You could just say, look, we need to open. You can't do that with chicks. It's hard. So even now, I've got 45 people who work for me and not a single one is a female, not one. Well, women don't need money. This is the thing. I mean, there are women out there who say they need to get the bag and all this crap. I think it's very masculine mindset for a female to have. Women don't really need money, not to the extent a man needs money. I understand they need to live and they say it's expensive to get their nails done, blah, blah, blah. But they don't need a nice car They don't need a nice place to even live. They don't need to pay for bottle bills or table spends and none of these things. They don't need any of that if they're attractive. So being attractive in and of itself is a currency. I don't know if this idea of ugly even then is warped, because let's say a girl, right, goes to the gym every day. Her body is banging. Her hair is long and it's nice and it's maintained. Her nails are done. She's got a nice manicure. She's got sunglasses on. She's dressed up nice. She's got a little dress on. She's got heels on. She's walking down the street. It's hard to be ugly. Do you know what I mean? Like, you might only be a 6, but you're all right. Like, dudes still want you.
Still bangable.
You're still do you know what I'm saying? It's very hard as a chick to become unbangable if you're trying your best.
Unless you fully give up.
Unless you give up. So I think the path because we have to not conflate and confuse issues here. What we're actually talking about is status. We're not talking about money. We're talking about status. Men want money because we want to be high status males. Females want to be high status females. They don't need money to do that. They can do that purely through their aesthetics. So if I was a woman, thank God I'm not, because I think I'd be a terrible existence. But if I was a woman, I would understand, okay, I want to be the highest status female I can. I need to look good. I need to look gorgeous and get a banging Instagram profile. I'm a high status now. Now billionaires want to talk to me. For a billionaire to want to talk to us, we need money.
It's like the whole...
You know what I'm saying? Like, if there's a billionaire's boat, the chicks who get on that boat don't have to be anything other than pretty. That is it. For us to get on that boat, we have to be connected, important, rich, interesting. We've got to know people. We've got to network. It's hard. So what I'm saying is, if you're looking for status, whether as a male or a female, there's different paths. I don't think a rich female is a high status female. If you were to take a woman who's unattractive, but she had a bunch of money, no one's going to look at her and go, wow. No one's going to give a shit. I don't care. She's busted. I'm not interested. I'm giving the 19-year-old brokey with the big titties. That's the one I want to talk to. So women can access money and women can access high status men via their aesthetics. So I think that's a much more intelligent way for a female to increase her status. Now, I know this is going to upset everyone. People are going to be sitting there going, you're saying women are only good for how they look, blah, 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 all this other crap. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that women are judged instantly on how they look. Just like men are judged instantly on our status, how rich we are, the car we turn up in, the table we're sitting at.
Yep.
That's the real world. Now, maybe you have more than just some big tits. Maybe you're also a nice person. It's unlikely, but maybe you are. But we're just talking about status games here, right?
Yeah.
So any woman who's dedicating herself to hustling instead of dedicating herself to the gym is making a mistake. But truthfully, we're living in a world now where the two things that the webcam business really is selling is it's selling attention, which is the first thing. We live in an attention economy. And also it's selling information. It's a service, right? It's not a physical product. So I sat there and I understood that even if I launched my webcam business, if I had a brand new girl, she has to get attention, right? People have to notice she exists to want to spend money on her. So you have to be an expert at soliciting attention. And then once you get the attention, you have to find a way to monetize it. So the girl would monetize it by sitting there and talking away. You could advertise her and spend money. That's all advertising is, getting attention for money, right?
Yep.
So I understood a bunch of things. And when I closed that business, and I closed it because I couldn't be bothered with the female headache anymore, I still very much understood any business I'm going to launch from now on out, I need to find a way to get attention. Not in a negative way, not in an attention-seeking way, but that's what advertising is.
Yeah,
how
you need
do
to get
I
yourself out there?
Yeah, how do I get attention in the world today, which is difficult? And then once I get that attention, how do I monetize it?
Yeah.
Because that's the world we now live in. Rihanna, when she launches a makeup brand, no one buys it because of the makeup. They buy it because it's Rihanna. She has attention. She can monetize it any way she chooses. Rihanna can launch a fucking clothing brand, makeup, sofas. Who cares? It's Rihanna.
Yeah.
She's going to sell, right? So that proves that we now live in an economy. We live in a world where the most valuable currency, the most valuable thing that exists is attention. It's extremely difficult to get because people's attention spans are lower than ever.
Yep.
Bro, they're non-existent. Have you ever watched someone on TikTok? Watch. Next time someone's on TikTok, watch them. Because I don't have a TikTok account myself, but I see people on it. How long do they give a video to interest them? Maybe a third of a second? They're like, bro, that quick. If you don't get my attention in 0.25 seconds, I'm not interested, right? That's how hard it is now. So, and it's getting harder and harder because the apps and the algorithms are retraining our brains to do that.
Yeah.
So now we live in a world where if you can find a way to hack these algorithms and you can find a way to get attention, and there's lots of different ways to do that, then you can find a way to monetize it. And off the back of that, you can become a very, very wealthy individual. And when I say modern wealth creation methods, it's because a lot of the wealth creation methods that you're going to hear from older people simply don't work.
Such as property.
Oh, yeah, property. I mean, of course, the old guy is going to sit there and go, save your money, put it in a savings account, get a mortgage. Bro, of course that worked for you. You were putting money in a savings account, getting 4% interest.
Yeah.
Now they won't even give us 1%. You're putting your money in a savings account. You bought a house for 85 grand. Now it's worth $500,000. And at the time you bought it for 85 grand, you were probably earning 30 grand a year.
Yeah.
Now I'm earning 40 grand a year. The house has cost 10 times more. I get no interest on my money. So everything you're telling me is outdated. It doesn't work anymore.